Sorry, this table's for family only, my sister smirked, pointing toward a fold-out chair by the trash can. That was the moment I realized I was done pretending. For most of my life, I played the role of the dependable daughter, the one who sent birthday cards, covered last-minute bills, and never made a scene. I didn't ask for much, just a seat at the table. So when my father's 65th birthday rolled around and I was asked to help with the reservation again, I said yes, like always. I showed up early, brought the wine, wore the heels that blistered. And still, I was pointed to the edge by my own blood. But this time, when the bill landed and the waiter looked at me, I didn't flinch. I smiled. Not my table, I said. And just like that, the game changed. Growing up, I learned how to be small. Not in ambition, I had plenty of that, but small in presence, quiet in conflict, easy to overlook. My older sister Vanessa was the bright one, the shining one. She won spelling bees, got the lead roles in school plays, and made friends out of thin air. My parents adored her sparkle. She's got that natural charm, my mom used to say, half apologetically, as if that explained why I was invisible in the same room. Me? I was the steady one. The one who got straight A's but never mentioned it. Who did the dishes before being asked? Who fixed her own flat tire at 16 and didn't make a fuss about it? I don't think my parents meant to forget me. They just didn't notice how often they did. Like when they framed Vanessa's graduation photos and forgot to print mine. Or when they asked her to make a toast at Thanksgiving and asked me to pass the gravy. And I went along with it, because asking for recognition felt like begging, and I refused to beg. Then came adulthood. I moved 3 states away, started my own small marketing firm, and built a life that didn't revolve around Friday dinners or family group chats. But I still visited. I still sent Christmas cards. I even helped cover my dad's car repairs last year when the transmission went out. Not because they asked, but because they assumed I would. And I did. Because some part of me still wanted to be seen not as the ATM, with good manners, but as someone they'd actually miss if she stopped showing up. So when Mom called a few weeks ago about Dad's 65th birthday dinner, I didn't hesitate. "Emily, sweetheart," she said in that overly sweet voice she uses when something's coming, "we'd love for you to come. It's going to be really special." "Of course," I said. "Just let me know the details." Then came the real ask. "We were wondering if you could put down the deposit just to hold the spot. It's at that place Dad loves, Rose, Ember." How convenient. I transferred the 1-0 that afternoon, and when I asked who else would be coming, she simply said, "Just family." That word used to mean something. I didn't know it yet, but this dinner would be the last time I ever asked for a seat at someone else's table. The night of the dinner, I arrived early like always. The restaurant, Rose, Ember, was bathed in soft amber lights and hushed jazz, the kind of place where menus didn't have prices and waiters wore earpieces. I had on a satin dress I hadn't worn in years, and a small gift box for Dad wrapped in navy paper. I told the hostess my name. She smiled and guided me up the stairs toward the private dining area. The moment I stepped inside, I paused. Everyone was already there. Vanessa in a cream dress that screamed effortless, my mom in pearls. Dad was laughing at something a cousin said, his eyes crinkled with joy I hadn't seen in years. No one looked up. I spotted the main table, a long mahogany piece, lit by hanging glass chandeliers. Place cards, cloth napkins, champagne flutes already half full, 15 seats, all taken. And then, to the right, a fold-out chair, against the wall, next to a bus cart and a trash bin that smelled faintly of shrimp and lemon peels. That's when Vanessa turned, wineglass in hand, and smiled. "Emily," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Glad you made it." I smiled, hesitating slightly, gift in hand. Then, she tilted her head, motioning toward the side. "Sorry, this table's for family only," she added, eyes glinting. "But we set you up just over there." Somebody chuckled. I think it was Uncle Ray. Someone else muttered, "Ouch." No one intervened. My mom gave me a quick wave and immediately looked away. I felt the heat crawl up my neck. My feet didn't move at first, but my body went on autopilot. I walked to the fold-out chair, sat down, didn't take off my coat, placed the gift on the floor. I told myself not to cry, told myself it didn't matter, that I was just overreacting. The waiter came over and asked if I was part of the party. I nodded. He didn't say another word, just set down a glass of tap water and walked away. For the next 2 hours, I sat there while they laughed, toasted, took photos. Vanessa gave a speech. My mom teared up. Dad beamed when she handed him a framed photo of their old family trip to Cape Cod without me in it, of course. No one asked if I wanted to order. No one asked me anything. And I sat in my 180 dress, staring at a table I paid to reserve, wondering how many more dinners I'd have to endure just to feel like I belonged. I was half listening to Vanessa retell the story of how she surprised Dad with a new golf set when the waiter approached their table with a slim black folder in hand. Even from across the room, I could see the total glinting on the receipt inside. A flicker of recognition crossed the waiter's face as he paused, then looked around, clearly scanning for me. I sat still, waiting. He glanced again at the folder, then at the name on file. Slowly, he turned toward my direction and took a few careful steps. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said quietly, with that rehearsed politeness. "The total for the evening is $4,912. Should I run the final charge on the same card used for the deposit?" The restaurant went silent. Forks hovered mid-air, conversations died mid-laugh. All eyes turned finally toward me. Vanessa froze, mid-sip. My mother's jaw tensed. I looked up and met the waiter's eyes, calmly, even kindly. Then I smiled. "Not my table," I said. The silence wasn't empty, it was surgical, slicing through champagne and charcuterie, carving truth into the expensive wood grain of that long mahogany table. "I'm sorry?" the waiter asked, unsure. "I paid the deposit," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "but I was told this table was for family only." Someone gasped. It may have been Aunt Julie. Or maybe my mom. Vanessa's face turned the shade of a Pinot Noir stain. "Oh my God, Emily," she hissed. "Don't do this." "I'm not doing anything," I replied. "I'm just following the seating arrangement." Dad cleared his throat, shifting in his chair. "Emily, honey, come on. You already paid half. Might as well just settle it." That stopped me cold. That line, that might as well. That assumption that I'd just take it, like I always had. That my silence equaled consent. I stood up slowly. My chair let out a sharp scrape against the floor. "You're right, Dad," I said, my voice low but firm. "I did pay the deposit. I booked this place. I gave up my weekend to plan all of this." Then I looked at Vanessa. And for that, I got a folding chair and a front row seat to being ignored. My gaze swept the table. "So now you all get to figure out the rest." And with that, I turned and walked toward the exit, heels clicking like punctuation behind me. The waiter stayed frozen, still holding the folder. And, for the first time that night, no one laughed. I didn't take the elevator. I needed air, movement, anything to drown out the pounding in my chest. My heels clicked down every marble stair as I descended into the night, the cold February wind slapping against my skin like a wake-up call. By the time I reached the sidewalk, I'd removed my earrings and unclasped my coat, fingers trembling not from fear, but from something sharper. Freedom, maybe. I kept walking. By the time I reached my apartment, my phone had already started buzzing. 9:23 p.m. "Mom. Emily. Please call me. We need to talk." 9:27 p.m. "Vanessa. Seriously? You just had to make it about you. Again." 9:33 p.m. "Dad. That was uncalled for. You embarrassed everyone." I let the screen dim. No response. Then, at 10:01, a name I didn't expect lit up the screen. Madison. Vanessa's ex-girlfriend. I stared at it for a second before answering. "Emily?" Her voice was soft, almost unsure. Yeah, hi. I leaned against the kitchen counter. I hope it's okay I called. I was at that dinner. I blinked. Wait, what? I came with Claire. Vanessa told everyone I was a friend from yoga, she said, with a dry laugh. Typical. What happened after I left? I asked. She freaked out, Madison said simply. Tried to act like it was a misunderstanding. Blamed the waiter. Blamed you for being sensitive. But her face, she knew. You humiliated her without even raising your voice. I didn't say anything. Look, Madison continued. I'm not calling to stir things up. I just wanted to say, I saw it. I've always seen it. Seen what? The way they treat you. Like you're just a financial buffer. A utility with a smile. And the way Vanessa talks about you, it's cruel, Emily. It's been cruel for years. I exhaled slowly. Why are you telling me this now? Because you walked out, she said. And they didn't expect that. I think it shook something. After we hung up, I stood in my kitchen for a long time, staring at the untouched bottle of wine I had brought to dinner. The gift box still sat in my purse. I hadn't even gotten a chance to give it to Dad. But now I realized it wouldn't have mattered. Because I could have brought gold and they still would have pointed me to the trash can. Only this time, I didn't stay there. I walked away. And apparently, I wasn't the only one who noticed. The next morning, the family group chat exploded. I hadn't heard a ping from that thread in months, except for the occasional blurry birthday cake or forwarded, good vibes only meme from Aunt Karen. But now, it lit up like fireworks. Mom, Emily, we really need to talk. You hurt your father. Please call. Dad, let's not make this bigger than it needs to be. Just apologize and we move on. Vanessa, you humiliated me in front of our entire family. I hope it was worth it. I didn't reply, not out of malice, just clarity. I had said what I needed to say, and for once, I wasn't going to clean up the mess they made. But Vanessa wasn't done. That afternoon, I received a voice note from her, laced with sarcasm and bitterness. I hope you're happy. You made Dad's birthday all about you. You always play the victim. Maybe if you weren't so cold, people would actually want you at the table. And that was it. That was the moment something inside me snapped not with rage, but with precision. I opened my laptop and found the email thread with the restaurant, pulled the deposit confirmation, the florist invoice, the digital receipt for the framed golf print I'd custom ordered for Dad, and the last-minute driver service I'd booked for my mother because she didn't want to deal with parking downtown. Then I composed a simple email. Subject: last night. To family group. BCC'd, of course. Hi all. Since there seems to be confusion about my intentions, I thought it might help to clarify with facts. Attached are the receipts for the dinner deposit. 1, 0, floral arrangements, 350, Dad's gift, 180, and the town car service for Mom, 120. All of this was handled on my card. No one offered to reimburse, nor did I ask. I did it because I was told this dinner was about honoring Dad. But I was also told quite clearly that I wasn't considered part of the family that night. I won't be covering the remaining 912. I didn't eat. I wasn't seated. I wasn't welcome. And frankly, I'm tired of paying for rooms that won't even offer me a chair. Best. Emily. I hit send. Within minutes, I got a reply from my cousin Jenna, who had stayed quiet all night. Jenna, good for you. We saw what happened. It was cruel. Then from Uncle Leo, wish I'd had the guts to speak up. I'm sorry. Even Aunt Karen, the queen of passive judgment, sent, about time someone said it. But what hit hardest was what didn't arrive. No apology from Mom. No acknowledgement from Dad. And Vanessa? Silence. Until 2 hours later, when a message popped up on my screen from an unknown number. Hi, this is Madison's friend Claire. We met once at a wedding. I just wanted to say, that email? It's making the rounds. People are talking. And they're not on Vanessa's side this time. I leaned back in my chair. For years, I had poured into people who only reached for me when they needed something. Now, the tide was shifting. And I wasn't chasing it anymore. That night, I opened my banking app and scrolled to the shared emergency fund I'd quietly maintained for the past 4 years. It wasn't much, just under 30, but it had been used often. Vanessa's broken AC unit, Dad's dental work, Mom's just until the refund comes through moments. They never asked nicely, they just assumed I'd cover it. Because I always had. I hovered over the transfer button for a long moment. Then I moved the entire balance into my personal savings and closed the joint account. It felt final and free. 10 minutes later, I got a call from Vanessa. I let it ring out. She called again, then a third time. On the fourth try, I answered. "Emily, what the hell?" she snapped. "No, hello, no apology. The joint fund is gone. I just tried to pay my car note and..." "I closed it," I said flatly. "You what? You can't just..." "I can, and I did." Silence. I paid for dinner, flowers, transportation. I sat alone, got laughed at, and then was expected to foot the bill while being told I wasn't even family. That account was the last tie. Now it's gone. "You're being vindictive." "No," I said calmly. "I'm being done." Vanessa went quiet. And when she finally spoke, her voice cracked not with remorse, but with disbelief. "You've never talked to me like this before." I exhaled. "That's because I used to think I had to earn love by staying quiet. But love that only exists when I'm convenient isn't love at all." I hung up. Then I opened my notes app and started listing everything I'd stopped doing. Covering last-minute family bills. Driving 3 hours on holidays just to be ignored. Sending birthday gifts that went unacknowledged. Acting like silence didn't hurt. It was a long list. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty about any of it. Later that night, I got a message from Madison again. "Madison, you okay?" I heard Vanessa's spiraling, accusing everyone of siding against her. I smiled at the screen, then typed, "Me, let her spiral. I'm not her axis anymore." The next morning, my inbox had a surprise. Subject line: "Emily, I owe you an apology. From Dad." I stared at it for a full minute before opening. The message was short, stiff, but real. "I didn't see it. That's on me. Your sister has always taken up all the air in the room. You just made it easy for us to ignore that. I'm sorry. If you ever want to talk, I'll listen. No excuses. Dad." I didn't cry. I didn't respond right away. But for the first time in my life, he didn't ask me to fix anything. He just took responsibility. And maybe that was the beginning of something new. Not a reunion, but a recognition. In the weeks that followed, I didn't hear much from my family. The group chat went quiet again. No forwarded jokes, no check-ins, no guilt-laced reminders about keeping the family together. And you know what? It was peaceful. I started waking up without checking my phone for another fire I had to put out. I cooked for one, lit candles while I worked, took long walks without telling anyone where I was. I started seeing a therapist not because I was broken, but because I was finally ready to stop pretending I wasn't hurt. We talked about boundaries, about conditional love, about how silence, too, is a form of communication, and how mine had always been taken for granted. I wasn't just healing, I was rebuilding. I finally booked that trip to Santa Fe I'd postponed twice to attend family functions. I walked the art markets in linen pants and drank coffee alone by sunrise, writing down all the things I thought I needed permission for. By day 3, the list included saying no without guilt, choosing solitude over forced obligation, cutting ties that only tighten when you struggle, creating a life that doesn't revolve around keeping others comfortable. One morning, as I scrolled through my camera roll, I came across a photo from Dad's birthday dinner. Not one that I had taken, but one someone else must have posted. the table elegant, gleaming, full of laughter. Except in the far background, slightly blurred, was me, alone in a chair, next to a trash can. Still in my coat. I stared at that image for a long time. It didn't hurt the way I thought it would. It confirmed something instead. That version of me? She showed up even when she wasn't wanted. She still brought the gift. She still smiled. But she's gone now. In her place is someone who doesn't ask to be seated, she builds her own table. The next week, I hosted my first dinner party in years. Just 6 people. No cousins, no aunts, no passive-aggressive siblings. Just my friends. My chosen people. I didn't seat anyone by the trash can. We ate lemon-roasted chicken and laughed until our ribs hurt. Someone brought wine. Someone else brought mismatched napkins. No one needed a seating chart. Halfway through the meal, my friend Talia raised her glass and said, "To Emily for reminding us that family isn't always blood." I smiled. Because I wasn't just at the table, I had said it. A few weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. No return address, but the cursive on the envelope was unmistakable Mom's. Inside was a short note. No flowers, no long-winded justifications. "Emily, I've reread your email at least 5 times. I didn't know how far we had pushed you, or how silent you'd become to stay close. I was wrong. If you never want to come back, I understand. But if you ever do, I promise not to seat you by the trash. Love, Mom." I folded the letter slowly. Not out of sentiment, but reverence. It was the first time in 32 years she'd said, "I was wrong," without adding "but you." I didn't cry. I didn't frame it. I didn't rush to reply. Instead, I placed the letter in a drawer beside my journal, closed it gently, and returned to my desk, where a hot cup of tea waited. That night, I opened a new document on my laptop and wrote at the top, "Rules for my table." I didn't mean a dinner table. I meant the one inside me, the place where I hosted my own worth, where I decided who got a seat and who had to stand outside. Rule 1. No one who makes you feel invisible gets to eat first. Rule 2. Love that comes with conditions isn't love, it's performance. Rule 3. Silence is not grace when it costs you your dignity. Rule 4. You don't need a chair at their table if you can build your own. I closed the laptop, exhaled, and felt something deep, almost imperceptible, unlock inside me. Peace and loud, not triumphant, but rooted. Because the real victory wasn't the walkout at the dinner. It was every quiet no that followed. It was the moment I stopped waiting to be included, and chose to include myself, fully, fiercely, and without apology. So no, I didn't pay the $4,912 bill, but I finally paid the debt I owed myself. The cost of staying silent. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't sitting next to the trash can. I was home, at my own table.